痛いよナミ話してよ
チャンネル登録してね。
ナミ
Card Kaizoku.
Welcome to the Week 4 OP13 meta-analysis video, where we're going to be going over the leader rankings on the sim for the last week of private Western sim games. So this mostly of ranked games because it's all private games. Yeah, we're going to be going over the leaders. We're going to go over their matchups, their win percentages, some sample deck lists, a bunch of other stats too. So if that is something you're interested in, sit tight. But first, a word from our sponsors. This video is brought to you by Adakai TCG. Shop the latest in premium holographic textured custom One Piece cards. Designed for collectors, crafted to stand out. Use code Kaizoku for 15% off your next order. This video is sponsored by gumgum.gg. See the most up-to-date Eastern and Western deck lists on gumgum.gg, updated daily. Be the first to see deck lists for new leaders as they emerge. With over 1,000 deck lists per set, gumgum.gg has all the top strategies as soon as they drop. This video is sponsored by Card Market, Europe's largest online marketplace for trading card games. Alright, week 4 of OP13. Yep, this current meta is a little bit stagnant, at least in the top, like half of the top 10 here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 seem to not have changed at all since the beginning of OP13, and it's a meta that we've gotten from Japan that they've kind of figured out. Usually there's a little room for us to add our own spice to it, but it looks like this current meta, the top 4 decks here are the de facto top 4 decks. Now in January, things are going to change a bit. I do think Blue Purple Luffy is going to jet right up here with the best of them once that promo Roger is released, but yeah, since we've been seeing the same leaders at the top, let's take a look at some other leaders lower down in the rankings. But first, let's just go over the rankings themselves, right? So up at first is Ace, second Emu, third Zoro, fourth Roger, fifth Sabo, sixth Green Bonnie, seventh Lim, eighth Rayleigh, ninth Zoro and Sanji, and 10th is Pudding. So yeah, as we mentioned, we want to look at some decks that aren't the top 5, right? So since we're seeing Rayleigh up here, Rayleigh went up 3 spots. I think Rayleigh is in a pretty good spot in the meta right now, actually. I'll show you why in a second too, but we'll have him open and ready. Zoro and Sanji too. Putting Teach up 4 spots. So let's take a look at Teach 2 and Doflamingo. Anybody else jump up a lot? Yamato? Yamato's up a lot. So is Rosinante. Let's see what Rosinante is cooking up. But yeah, as you can see, the play rates kind of peter down once you get to like 23rd. Only 700 games compared to like, what is it, 47,000 for Ace, 46,000 for Emu, 33,000 for Zoro. So like literally everyone's just playing these 3 decks, right? They command, what is this, 21 plus 21 plus 15, 57% give or take of the pie, right? Over half of the decks are just these 3. If you add Roger, that makes it probably go up to like near 60%. That's the kind of meta we're having in OP13. But yeah, as we mentioned, let's go over the leaders. So up first is Rayleigh, who has a 43.47% win rate going first, 60.4 going second. Oh, by the way, this is my website, kaizoku.com, where you're seeing all these stats. I aggregate them myself. I collect the data myself. Everything is done by me. If you want access to it, just check it out, kaizoku.com. So overall, raw win rate of 52.13 with a sample size of 2,800 games. So matchup spread is as below. So into Red Blue Ace, you go a little negative, 40% overall, but you're decent into him going second, so you want to go second if you can. And yeah, just by the overall win rate, you're overwhelmingly more winning going second just because that 4-cost loop here, this one right here, is something you want to play on curve. Into Emu though, 54 overall just because that win rate is even more lopsided. Going second into Emu, you completely decimate. Into Zoro, it looks like you're good, either first or second. Into Roger, you're good. Into Sabo, you're completely destroyed here. It looks like you have trouble against 6k base leaders, but not 7k base. I guess you can kill Roger before he gets to that point. Into Lim, you decimate. Into Bonnie, you get decimated. And yeah, I want to show off a new tool that I built out. It's like my counter finder. I haven't released this publicly yet. It's still a work in progress. I'm still coding some things out and making some UI changes. But yeah, the thing you can do here is you can just select leaders that you want to counter. So like, I hate the top 3 decks here. What's the best deck against all 3? And it picks the one that has the best overall on average win rate against them. So Ace is good into the top 3 decks here. He consistently has a 51.1% win rate into them. And here's where I thought it was interesting that Rayleigh shows up here, right? He's the second highest at 50.4% overall because he has a good matchup into Zoro and Emu, but not into Ace. If we add Roger into that, I think Rayleigh jumps to number 1 because he has a good matchup into Roger. If you add Sabo into this, I think Ace becomes number 1 again. Oh, nope, it's still Rayleigh, but then Zoro follows shortly after. So yeah, this I think might be an interesting and nice tool to use if you're just like, okay, in my local meta, it's full of Emu and aces, and for some reason, like I don't know, Yellow Bonnie. What's the best deck for that kind of meta? And it's Red Blue Ace because he has a 53% win rate against those decks, right? So yeah, just wanted to show that off real quick. I'm working on new stuff still, so if you're a Kaizoku tier patron, do know that I'm like continually adding new features and improving stuff always. But back to Rayleigh, let's take a look at some Rayleigh deck lists. Okay, so this one, 215 games played by 36 people with a win rate of 54.4%. And here is the matchup spread for this deck list below. Yes, it's per deck list. I can show how it performs, and then we'll open it up in the deck builder. I'm pretty sure nothing too different here. This deck builder is also coded by me. So, oh, actually, I wanted to push a change. Let me do it right now, and then I'll continue recording. Okay, there we go. I added this thing on the side here just to organize it a little better, and then I moved some of the stats up here too, just to make it look nicer. So this is the Rayleigh deck. Let me know your feedback too. If you don't like it, I can remove it, I guess, because it does make the deck list in the middle here kind of cramped. But yeah, I don't notice anything too different. I do notice 4 Zoro, so no Kidding Killers in this particular deck list. And then for the events, they're running the full spread of it. There's 18 events in this deck, and then the OP13 Luffy in full effect here. But yeah, Rayleigh just has a pretty decent time into the top 4, as we saw from the earlier counter finder. Let's take a look at the price of the deck, because that's what we can do in our deck builder too. Price of the deck is $45. Very cheap deck for a deck that counters a lot of the top decks here. Yeah, the price is up here now, in case you guys are used to it being over here. And I move all the buttons here too. Right, it looks better this way, right? All the info is like up in the corner here. So yeah, it has some missing images from like the Learn Together deck set. I don't know if those are on TCG Player yet, but this deck uses quite a few of them, and then they're very cheap, right? The Nami 172 for a full playset from that. If you do buy like the OP01 version, I think it's quite considerably more expensive. Yeah, the starter deck 10 one is the next cheapest one at $12 for a full playset, and then OP01 one is $17.80 for the OP01 version. So yeah, you're gonna want to use the Learn Together one if you want to save some money. And then these shopping cart links that show up take you to TCG Player for the version of the card you have selected. So if you did want to like bling out the Nami and pick like this one here, it'll change the link accordingly. Or if you're super lazy, just set the cards that you want across the board. Like you want the pre-release version of this one, you want the alternate of this one, and then click the mass entry button here. This will take you to TCG Player, to the mass entry form like input thing. It copies the entire deck list to your cart, so you just control V once you're there. A one-click solution to add the entire deck list to your cart via one click. So if that helps you out, or if you guys just want to help me out, both of these methods go through my affiliate link. So if you guys were going to buy these cards anyway, it would really help me out if you did it via this way. But yeah, let's move on to the next leader here. Zoro and Sanji, 41 going first, 52 going second. So another going second deck. It seems to be a theme. But what are you good against? You're good in getting to Emu by a large margin, 61%. But you're nearly 50-50 going first, and you just decimate them going second. Into Zoro, it's like true 50-50, it looks like. That's insane. Into Roger, you're a little unfavored. Into the Mirror, it's super lopsided, right? You do better going second. But yeah, at 4,000 games only, so it drops significantly. This is 10% of the Aces games. But let's take a look at let's look at the curve too, right? Just curious to see what the curve is. That's something also available in my website. So you're playing Perona, you're using Perona as your premier searcher, it looks like. The most common premier searcher for the deck, at least, because some of these cards are slash, right? The VV and then the Cavendish are slash, and then Hody is what you use to finish the game, it looks like. So let's open it up in the deck list view. 464 games by 67 people with a 49.1% win rate against these decks here. Let's open it up. All right, so this deck cost is $185. That's actually quite pricey for a deck here. What's causing the price to be so high? Okay, so VV is high. Perona is, what the heck? This is what, like $7 each? $7-8 each? Mihawk is high too. Is this because, oh yeah, this is definitely because Mihawk in OP14, right? They also run Perona, so I guess people are excited for OP14 super early. There's a Learn Together Arlong. I didn't even know that was in Learn Together. But yeah, that makes this deck actually quite expensive. I thought it would be like a off meta for fun deck that you can casually buy, but it looks like it's out of reach unless you're like super committed to the leader. But yeah, it just runs a mishmash of things here. You can see there's so many goddamn types in this deck, and like almost nothing is a committed 4 of unless it's like a 2k counter or Cavendish. Everything else is kind of 3 of these, 2 of these, 3 of these. Yeah, it's all about getting value. I guess this is like your main attacker, right? You can make them attack twice, make them double attack a bunch of times because you can untap it with your leader ability. Oh, and I didn't realize it uses the alt art on the side here. I didn't intend for that to work that way. Did I? maybe I should make it show only the base art, because those are the art that everyone recognizes, right? And then the learn together won't show anything. Up next is purple yellow pudding with a first win rate of 50.47 and second of 44.7. So the first deck that wins better going first, and that's just because you can ramp first, right? You can attack first because the way you ramp is via attacking. 49 into ace, but you do pretty well in second, right? It's a slight favorable matchup for pudding. Same with the emu matchup. Against Zoro, you just completely die, but into Roger, you seem to do pretty well, especially going first. It's interesting. Into Roger, you want to ramp first, but against Emu and Ace, you want to take their better curve away from them. Into Sabo, you beat them either way. Into Lim, you have trouble. You completely destroy Red Green Luffy, because no matter how much down you have up, you're defending those 12k Big Mom attacks. Also good into Rayleigh and Purple Luffy. So let's take a look at some deck lists here for pudding. 672 games by 81 different people, 51% win rate, matchup spread below. So this one does a little bit more favorably into Ace and Emu than the overall stats, at the very least, this particular deck list here. Price of this deck is 192, and then the biggest cost driver is this Mr. 2. This guy was supposed to get cheaper after the PRB02 reprint, and it did not. It just made the EB01 version more expensive, because this is the PRB02 version, I would have to assume. Yeah, if you hover over the shopping cart link, it shows. So this is like 25, 26-ish per. If you look at the EB01 version, it's 122. Okay, so they're not too much different in price, but it was supposed to save us, and it didn't save us. It just added more supply, which is supposed to bring it down, right? I guess it brought it down a little bit. What happened to my voice? Yeah, putting just a ramp to 10 kind of deck. Also has some ways to draw cards now with this PRB02 pudding, and you're just playing Big Moms back to back. You're playing Katakuri to defend yourself, this Katakuri to stall and heal or get rid of your opponent's threats. It looks like everyone's on slow beam now. I've seen a lot of purple decks run it, even into OP14 now, right? Purple Doflamingo runs 4 of this, so I think this is a card that might go up in price. It's just a common though, so probably not. This is probably as high as it'll go, actually. Is there an alt art for it? There's a PRB02 version, but oh, there's a Judge Pack version, and then a pre-release version. Yeah, that's all for slow beam. Moving on to Teach. 40.14% win rate going first, 47.8 going second, so go second with this guy. Overall 44.32, 3,000 games played, matchup spread. You're weak into the top 3. You beat Roger though, because you nullify a lot of his leader ability. Or not leader ability, how his deck functions, because they played the they played the 9-cost Newgate to make themselves a 9k base that gets nullified via your leader ability, because you can lock on plays out. Looks like you're weak into Sabo though. I would assume you have the same advantage into Sabo, denying their 8-cost dragon, but I guess they'll just play the red dragon instead. You can't really stop that one. It still has rush, even though you don't get to shuffle down around. Completely died a Lim. You completely destroy Yellow Bonnie, because then her entire deck doesn't work against you. 50-50 into the Zoro and Sanji, and then into Red Green Luffy. You do well into him too. I guess you do deny a lot of the ways they can restand on to get extra counter for the turn. So let's look at some deck lists here. So 79 games played by one person, 51.9% play rate. So I guess there's no like agreed upon teach list. No, this one right here. This one's 31 people, but we'll take a look at the one that's doing the best. So matchup spread below. Open it up in the deck builder. So I can't say I'm a teach expert. I kind of didn't touch this deck much at all after my deck breakdown for it, but it looks like some new developments. The Shiryu from PRB02 is run as a 3-of. I think people were like unsure whether to run this card in the beginning or not, but it looks like, yeah, it's obviously a good card. It looks like they're cutting out the 7-cost teach, right? The fact that Emu's in the meta, you're not gonna be removing too much, so they just cut out that removal package in general. Yeah, I don't even see Doc Q. So this deck plays completely different now, right? It runs Katarina Devon, it runs Shiryu. I can just revenge kill something. It runs this Jesus Burgess that has rush. 4 of the 4-cost Jesus Burgess. I might have reverted back to the old style and then like fully committed to the Jesus Burgess style. Right, it's kind of Emu light, alright, because this guy can't be KO'd. Meanwhile, all of Emu's characters can't be interacted with at all. So yeah, it looks like it's returning back to Jesus strats. And then Black Vortex for the Green Zoro matchup makes sense. Black Hole actually kills like Workery because it nullifies his immunity and his blocker and the on-KO. Interesting. I'm just curious. Can I look at the other Blackbeard list? Let me show the price of this deck first. $16. It's dirt cheap to experiment with this deck in case you want a second pet deck. Okay, so the other one, 296 games by 31 pilots. Let's open it up. Yeah, they cut out the 7-cost teach. They cut out the Doc Qs. It's no longer a removal deck. It's a kind of mid-range janky control deck. right? You're just generating a lot of value for Jesus Burgess, which is a mid-range part, and then the 10 cost teaches can stun or like completely nullify a character, so that's the control part. Interesting. I might want to revisit Blackbeard then just to see how he plays without any removal at all. This one costs just as much. Yeah, this one's $19, just a little bit more. Still under 20, sub $20 deck. Up next is Blue Doflamingo, 48.9 going first, 48 going second. That's actually very consistent, right? You're good whether you're going first or second. You're good into Ace. That's a nice good matchup to have. You're favorable into Zoro going first, but you die to Emu. Yeah, it seems like there's no one thing that counters all of the top three, right? The closest thing we saw was Rayleigh, and it has a bad matchup into Ace, unfortunately. But yeah, what else are you good into? You're weak into Sabo, but you're good into Lim. You're good into Teach. You're good into Rayleigh. So let's open up in the deck list view. Okay, 479 games by 100 people, 48.6% win rate. Matchup spread below. So let's open it up. Okay, so it's running for the Jinbei. That's kind of the only new thing that this deck has gotten since it was top meta. It lost the other Jinbei, so that gutted the deck quite a bit. It's running 3 pudding. I guess this is really good into Ace, so run more of it if you can. 4 Perfume Femur. I guess, yeah, people used to run this as like a 1 or 2 of. Now it's completely a 4 of. You need it for some matchups. I'm wondering if you can even aggro down an opponent quick enough to make Perfume Femur an option, but it looks like, yeah, it looks like you need 4 of in this current meta. 14 2k counters too. That's pretty high, higher than normal. Oh, price of the deck. It must be dirt cheap. I would assume so. Oh, not so much. $55. What's the most expensive thing here? Oh, this blocker bow. Okay, so because of blue yellow boa and OP14, the price of this card skyrocketed. Boa's looking to be like a top meta deck, so that unfortunately that's gonna affect people playing other 7 warlords of the C-type decks, because this is a good card for those decks too, like this blue Doflamingo deck. So unfortunately, not super budget, but still quite cheap, right? 55. It's really just this boa making up the entirety of the deck's price. Everything else is sub $5 for a full playset. Okay, let's go on to green yellow Yamato. 36.5 going first, 42 going second. 1,000 games played. Overall 38.85% win rate here. So you die to the top 3. Top 5 you die to top 5. You're good into Lim. You're good into Teach. Why would you run Yamato in this current meta? Unfortunately, you don't do too hot, but let's open up the deck list view. Okay, 71 games by 15 people, 48.8% win rate here. Deck list spread below. Okay, this one does decently into Zoro and Emu, but very low sample size. Again, only 71 games here. Let's open that up in the deck builder. Oh, interesting. Things have changed. It's not like turbo aggro. It's still kind of turbo aggro, but you're relying on like Zoro for the late game. I guess this is good into Emu. Hoodie's good into Emu too. Maybe the Zoro's for Ace too. I don't know. But Kuma's nice too. Right, Kuma to stall a bit. Not running the Momonosuke, the one that has Rush. So like the only card from the starter deck that Yamato is still running is the Izo, it looks like. Oh, also the Ashura Doji for 5 cost removal, but against Emu this does nothing. What does this Hiyori do? Okay, on KO you can trash a card in your hand to heal. That's pretty good, right? It's kind of a more stall-y kind of. Oh wait, I said the Momonosuke is not in the deck, but he's right here. Sorry, I didn't notice him. In terms of events, it's like a 1-1-1 spread. Huh. I guess with Hody you don't need too many Dead Man's games. Oh, price of the deck is 230. What the heck? Oh yeah, Kuma. Of course, you're running Kuma. That's half the price of the deck. And then Mihawks are expensive. Mihawk can cheat out the Kikunojo here and the Hawkins, so that's nice. But yeah, that's going to be Yamato. Let's take a look at our final leader here. It's green, blue, Rosinante. 43.33 going first, 53 going second, overall 48. 716 games though, so this is the lowest sample size of the bunch that we're taking a look at today. Looks like into Ace going second, you do good. Emu, you completely lose first or second. Into Zoro, you do pretty favorably. Roger too, right? These are green numbers here that are good. Into Sabo, you lose. Into Lim, you completely get destroyed. You get into Bonnie, both Bonnies, it looks like. Very interesting matchup spread, but I think the funkiness also has to do with the super low sample size here. Here's the sample curve in case you're not familiar with the deck, because I'm not. It's a Fortress deck, it looks like, with Kid. Okay, let's open it up in the deck builder. So this one, 23 games by 4 different people, 69% win rate. But yeah, super low sample size. Here is the matchup spread, and let's open it up. Yep, Fortress Kid deck, and then you're playing 9 Zoro and Shanks. I guess you're safe enough to do it since you can defend all of your key stall pieces. It's a thing that like Nostro's in the meta, in the top meta deck, that makes it kind of hard to run 8 cost Kid because they can debuff it for 2k with Nostro. So that kind of sucks, but yeah, a bunch of other stall cards, right? You have the sugar that you just rest stuff when your opponent plays something, and then you can carry it afterwards to stun it. You're running blockers. Yamato just draws you cards. Law is a blocker that can replay a lot of these cards, right? You can play out a Yamato again or a Nami to draw cards. Or you can replay out the carrot to stun a second character that's rested. You even have some Mihawk action. No, oh yeah, Mihawk into Cavendish. I think that's the only target you have with that Mihawk, unfortunately. And then 2 DMGs for late game and the Red Rock for Assurance. The price of the deck is $91. Okay, that's not too bad at all. Not too bad at all. And yeah, Rosinante is an interesting deck. It's a lot of people's like favorite pet deck. It's this and Sanji. So for some reason, green and blue is like the color that everyone's like wanting to have experimented with, right? When they want to play off meta, it's green blue, it looks like. For some reason, maybe it could be coincidence. But yeah, that's going to be our OP13 week 4 meta analysis here. If you guys wanted to see more like meta leaders, I did go over those in week 3 and probably week 1, so check those out too if you wanted to see like the aces, the emus, the Zoros, Rogers, and Sabos and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to look at stuff past the top 5 because nothing's really changing with the top 5 here. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what you guys thought. Let me know if you guys want to see this for next week, any specific leaders too. And it's going to have to depend on people actually playing the leader too, right? The play rate gets kind of abysmal down here. But yeah, subscribe to my channel if you're not already subscribed, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Oh yeah, again, cardikaizoku.com. Bye.
Card Kaizoku.